Hi there, welcome to part 3 of the video series on community assistance to immigrants, where we've talked about a lot about, what's the topic, what am I talking about? So it's not about the immigrant themselves, but the community that has actually welcomed new people into their life, into their place of residence, into their communities. So as a community member, what can you do to practice more love towards those people? And we've talked about a lot of goodies, and part 2, link down below if you haven't watched part 2. But part 3 is all about the wrap-up, concluding thoughts, remarks, any messages from the spirit. And I might just be drawn to this deck here, the tarot cards. It's a fun little tarot deck that I've got, and look, I will shuffle some cards as we speak, and I will draw some messages and ask for some guidance from the spirits, angels and archangels, to actually, shine some goodies on my way as to any messages of spirits as to how can a community member practice love, show love towards immigrants. Any messages, any suggestions, any advice. Ultimately, remember the Holy Trinity in my world is all about thinking love, speaking love, and doing love, right? So even if the suggestions, the practical tips that we've discussed in part 2 do not quite resonate with you, you may have some special things that you want to do, or you want to say or speak about, some topics, some subject matters. Do that, be inspired to do whatever it is that your heart desires, trust in the universe to send some perfect inspiration your way. You cards have come through, which is great. I might just grab another deck as well at the same time, just to see if any other messages come through. But, the whole point is that, one of the universal laws is about the give and receive energy, right? So long as you do something, you give something towards the immigrant, be that a thought, a good thought, a prayer towards them, an individual or whole heart of people. You might be saying some lovely words, having a conversation with them, sending them great wishes, offering to be that, shoulder to cry on, or just an ear to listen to their story. You might be doing some things like inviting people to a family gathering or a barbecue or whatever it might be, in order for the immigrants to actually create a connection, to develop some social bonds, right? You might be offering them your transportation or guidance and advice as to your transportation, how to get from one place to another, how to travel. You might actually be taking them there, right, or helping them with whatever it might be. So I'm just trying to get some more messages out. Here we go. A lot's coming up today. That's great. I think spirits and angels love the subject of assisting others, right? I mean, yeah, that's why we're getting a lot more, because there's so much that one can do when it comes to, ability to help others, right? So just looking at all of these decks. So we've got something that comes to, I'm not going to name them. I'm just going to go straight into the messages that I'm receiving. So one of them, we've got this Queen of Swords, which is a lovely, lovely white swan, right? So think about, and there's a moon behind the swan, and moons usually represent, some shadow work, some internal feelings, something that may come from within out, So one of the messages is, that ability to go and ask, and proactively ask and start a conversation about the good, the bad, and the ugly. Is there something on the surface that you can see? A person might be portraying a certain look, but actually there might be something going on the inside. So it might just be, you're gently and politely asking, certain specific subjects, certain topics that might actually resonate with you. You might be drawn to talk about a particular thing, and you might actually see that person kind of changing the way they look because you asked a certain question, and they might be feeling like, actually there's something I can share or discuss, what's really on my heart, what's really going on in depth, that perhaps the experience hasn't been as great as I had hoped for, and here's some things I'm trying to think through or figure out, here's some challenges. They might be willing to share that. And so the fact that you were prompted to ask the question might be a huge, huge, huge help to be able to do that. Now what else is coming through? So just some numbers, lots and lots of numbers have come through. We've got 4s and 7s and 9s and 10s. I don't know, just the numbers. I'm just thinking of a variety of dates straight away, and the first thing that comes to mind is just the fact that people can come. People are literally traveling and moving on a daily basis, right? So the subject of immigration is a constant, right? It's never ending. There's somebody moving all the time. So you as a community member, you can welcome with open arms immigrants at any point in time, as I mentioned before, even as little as a prayer is a powerful way to be able to actually practice love towards newcomers. So we've got lots of wands. Oh yeah, so wands usually imply passion and fire. And creativity, and we've got beautiful sunshine, sun energy, or sun images of sun, as well as actually moon and the stars, so day and night. So going back to that whole thing, it's constant. Immigration is constant. People can be traveling at any point in time, but also the next thing that comes to mind is the fact that things can be really good one day and it can be really bad the next day, right? You never know how things are going to pan out. So don't forget that just because somebody might be actually having a really good time, and you might be having a conversation with the immigrant and things are going well the next day or the next week things might not be so good anymore. There might be more difficulties or challenges, a different nature of challenges. So having these conversations and and offering for help, that the practical tips that we've discussed in part 2, these can be repeated on like a daily basis, on a weekly basis, a monthly basis, whatever that you're drawn to do. So because things can change swiftly, right? That's life for you. Oh, what else? Just looking at this. So we've got a couple of 8 of Swords and 4 of Swords, right? So people being it's physical health and mental health usually cards. So people might be, from a mental health perspective, might be a little bit too much in their head, stressed out, because obviously any kind of immigration is a stressful transition, going from one place to another, so much new. So feeling bound and gagged, the immigrants might be feeling bound and gagged, going through a variety of challenges and frustrations. So even if you can tackle one or talk about one with them, or actually take certain actions to help them with one, then you're literally helping that individual go through their frustrations, beat those frustrations out, and help them with their mental health. That's huge. And then don't forget about the physical health, right? People might actually get ill, right? Flu's going around, COVID, any other kind of illnesses, physical disabilities might be present. So people might need some time out to take some rest, be that sleep or rest or just time out. Might be a good reminder for if you're seeing somebody struggling physically or mentally. One advice you can give them is just slow down, baby steps. Just remind them of how huge of a step they have taken and the leap of faith they have taken in order to actually arrive to your country, your neighborhood, and that sometimes a little bit of rest might actually do wonders. Might as well take 1, 2, 3 days or whatever it might be, whatever is necessary off in order to come back much more stronger, in a much stronger position, and tackle the frustrations then, as opposed to constantly going and feeling like you're this, you're just constantly running a marathon, but you see no end in sight, kind of thing. Sometimes it's good to just take a breather, stop for a moment, pause for a moment, take a breather, and then resume your run, resume the marathon. So something else that's coming through, we've got the Queen of Wands, Ace of Wands, and King of Wands here, which is just amazing. They literally just come one after another. As I mentioned before, we got the other wands cards, which is 8, 9, and 10. Amazing. So Ace of Wands, right? New beginnings, new ideas, new creations. So of course, any kind of immigration journey, if you put yourself in the shoes of the immigrant, it's so much new in every single perspective. You have new everything, and that's the context. That's the place you might want to put yourself in. And then if you're a community member, right, so you put yourself in those shoes. Well, even seeing some local friends, colleagues, lovely people, lovely strangers, caring people, do wonders for the immigrants. And a lot of the ones they usually send me vibes of just positivity, being fiery, being passionate, being happy, being helpful, speaking, outspoken, speaking a lot. So, in part 2 we discussed, how you can proactively ask certain questions, or you can offer certain help depending on what your strengths are. And so this is, I think, just a confirmation of the fact that, hey, if you are just positive, you're showing willingness to speak to the immigrant, or offer them help, or just kind of open your arms towards them, and that will do miracles for their mental health, for their physical health, and ultimately their assimilation into your society, into your neighborhood, into your community. Another card we have was 3 of Cups, which is all about celebration, bright happenings. So we've talked a lot about you potentially organizing a social gathering, a barbecue, or just a family-friendly event, or whatever it might be at your place, or you might know of somebody else doing that, so inviting them to make sure that the immigrant has the ability to introduce themselves, make some connections, establish some bonds. And during those social bonds and connections, that's what might make them feel like they're slowly getting back to normality in the new environment that they have found themselves in. Having a drink together, might be helpful. Whatever that drink may be. Could be even just a cup of lovely coffee, right? In your local cafe. And what else do we have here? I'm just trying to see any other messages. The Hierophant. So the Hierophant is all about higher education, knowledge, so information. We discussed that, right? So our ability to actually give or share some knowledge and information with the immigrant could be about your community, how things are done. That could prove amazingly useful to them. Also, like official building, official situation, or religious buildings, temples, churches, maybe guide them towards those communities or those buildings, those literally physical places in your local neighborhood, as to where the immigrant might want to visit, and just go for a walk and browse those places. They might find some communities and people that they actually resonate with, and they might feel some kind of belonging there, even if it's just for a short while, or that introduction might help them actually establish themselves with that particular community. Right. I'm just seeing anything else. I might pop out just another card. What am I drawn to? Right, let's do the Energy and Spirit Oracle, just to see if any other messages come through from the beautiful spirit whilst I shuffle. I'm just going to think a little bit and pray for all the immigrants who are on their journey to where I'm at, and wish them well. Hopefully that transition will be as smooth as possible. Sometimes it can be a huge handful trying to relocate and move, and yes, you might be excited and you're looking forward, but there's a lot of physical challenges that come through with that. So here we go, mental clarity. Oh, another card comes through. So what we've got is number 5, Wisdom of the Magi. which is all about mental clarity, and we've got number 15, Archangel Haniel, joy, blessings, and intuition. So yeah, if I just think a little bit about Archangel Haniel, one of the thoughts of love that you can send is to actually pray to Archangel Haniel to send lots of joy and blessings and abundance and the right connections, the right people, the right circumstances towards the immigrants in your neighborhood or in your country, or wherever else, quite frankly. Perhaps Archangel Haniel can do so himself, send the right energy their way, or this archangel might be able to even find other angels and spirits and archangels who might be able to assist, they know better, that's for sure. Intuition, so with the intuition card, there's just a message come through, which is use your own intuition, okay? Whenever you're having an interaction with an immigrant, be that directly or you're just in your thoughts, use your intuition, trust your intuition to know how you can best practice love towards that person or individual or family or group at that particular time. And just shine bright, send the positivity, send the love, and be that happy person that sends those individuals, those immigrants, just even a slice of joy, a happy moment. Now if we go back to the wisdom of the Magi, the mental clarity, I might just read it out from the book, the guidebook, because some of you might actually be inspired. I really like this wisdom of the Magi card, and some of the messages here might actually be the nudge that you need in order to be inspired, or it may click with your intuitive powers, with your own intuition as to what you could do to help the immigrants. So the Magi bring powerful, perhaps life-changing guidance to you. When this card appears in your reading, it indicates that an important project either is already in the works or will be coming your way soon. This may be something personal, or it can relate to a career or professional goal. Either way, you have the ability now to take on even complex endeavors, and you will be guided and inspired by this great eternal collective mind. In ancient times, people sought assistance from the Magi, the wise men who were alchemists and astrologists. These masters were thought to have access to hidden magical information. So whenever you need input on a decision or a plan, open your heart and mind to the empowering wisdom of this majestic group of guides. When meditating or falling asleep, call on the Magi. Enlightening guidance will be coming your way. Then the affirmation is, I'm free to choose positive and honoring thoughts. My mind is open to the unlimited wisdom the Magi bring to my life. And so there's two practical tips that come through from that beautiful message about mental clarity and the wisdom of the Magi. The one is that if you don't know what you could do, one thing you can do is pray or think for the beautiful Magi, for the guides to be sent to every single immigrant out there in order to give them the strength and the information and the physical signs to get them through whatever challenge or circumstance that they're facing. And so there's you kind of sending the request out for the Magi to help those people, right? The second thing that has popped into my mind is that you as a community member, you're effectively the Magi or the master in the immigrant's life, because you know your local customs, you know your neighborhood, you know you have much greater awareness as to the place of residence that you're in, and so be that wise master. You're in that role already because of your familiarity and your knowledge of the environment. So be that Magi for that immigrant. Share your wisdom with the others. Open your heart and share away. Practice more love towards the immigrant and the newcomer in your neighborhood. With that in mind, my magical Magis, my wise Magis, community members, hopefully this video series was inspiring to you and give you some good insights and some practical tips as to what you could do in order to help the immigrants in your communities. I am hopeful that this also gives you some guidance and some aspiration, and just a different way of thinking sometimes as to what one can think, speak and do in terms of practicing their love. As I mentioned before, comment down below if you have actually any other practical tips and suggestions. You may have helped an immigrant before. If so, share your story down below. Be that inspiration for others out there. If you're an immigrant watching this video series, then jot down some challenges or some help that you may need with, or you may have needed with, and don't forget to check out my other video series on immigrants, immigration and immigrating perhaps with children, if that's relevant to you. Now, like and comment, subscribe to this channel if you like this kind of content, as well as the universal laws and the idea that we're all about practicing love, and the more you practice love on a regular basis, the more you will receive it back. If that's something that resonates with you, hit that subscribe button. Also, as you recall, you may be aware, you might not be aware, I have made a commitment to donate 22% of my income and earnings as the Loving Soul, aka Viktoriya, to charities and noble causes. I will link down the video about that explains much more what I mean by that. And that means the more you watch this kind of videos, you're already helping and assisting effectively somebody else. And if you are able to support this channel in any other shape or form, please do so. There's a bunch of ideas and ways you can do that in the description box. So hopefully that was useful. Please do let me know your thoughts, any comments, and I wish you to have a lovely day. All the very best. Have a lovely time pondering on what you could do in terms of helping the immigrants or the newcomers in your life, and I will see you in my other video series. Bye for now.